Welcome again. Well, I have told you that I'm going to open discussions for every topic. This is from last semester, by the way. And here you can also see the literature survey assignment. I mean, you can submit those literature survey assignments here. And for each week, this one I haven't said actually. For week 2, for example, you will have 2 weeks after the end of that week to submit your literature review, which means in week 2, for the topic of week 2, you have time up to the end of week 4, basically. And at the very end of the semester, you have one extra literature review. You can submit it up to the end of the final date. And of course, this literature review after the week 14, again, you will have time up to the end of the final week of finals, because you have only 2 weeks left after the end of the week 14. And typical week, well, you will have, by the way, 2 discussion forums open for course content and technical problems, where you can ask your questions on course content rules and technical problems. For example, for the second week, probably the topic might be same. I'm reluctant to change topics for this semester since I need already do the recordings, and I'm also planning to make a general review of the all courses I'm teaching this semester for this semester. But maybe I might change 1 or 2 of the discussion topics. Let's see. Basically, you will have the PowerPoint slides. You will have the This was not a week. This was a week of face-to-face meeting. You will have PowerPoint slides. You will have video lecture. You will have topic discussion where you can ask your questions on that topic, and you will have a discussion of the week. Well, basically, the topic discussions, basically, they are not graded discussions. You can ask questions there, although most people are using emails, and that's okay. But just in case, I mean, people want to discuss certain things at a common ground, I keep them open. And the graded discussions, in order to get full points for them, there will be 13 of them. Overall, they make 10% of the course grade. You need to write a comment. It should be your comment, original. You can have some quotations, but they should be at most half of your comment. And they should be your comment should be at least 100 words. It should be meaningful. It should contain any insult, and you should also respond to 2 of your peers. If you do all of these, you got full points from the assignment. I'm very liberal. I'm not here. I'm not even grading the quality of your comment. I mean, in terms of quality, I don't mean which direction it is, but how successful it was backed up by them by certain information, say. And discussions will be open for 3 weeks. The last one will be open for 2 weeks. Of course, the extra discussion will also be open for 2 weeks. There will be a movie night. Actually, there won't be a night. I will upload a movie. But even if it's a movie you have watched before, I will still suggest you to watch it again, just for fun. I will put it to the very end of the semester, so that, I mean, before the finals, people might relax a little bit, maybe. You should write a review of the movie, but in the review, as I said, review is not something you should just describe the movie scene by scene. Rather, you should overall analysis of the movie. Basically, you should do that. What is it about? basically, and what is the general storyline in your own words. And also maybe basic elements of the movie, you should describe them. And here you should relate the movie to the modest issues of the famous economics, and I will help you with the questions I have asked on it, but not also you should write a coherent review. Submission of assignments, term paper, and article summaries. You should submit all of them through OptiClass unless you have an excuse for that. If you have excuse, write your excuse, if possible, on the assignment, related assignment or exam submission on the OptiClass. Also, I mean, if you cannot upload a file, for example, at least you should be able to write a comment. Write on the comment, I will submit my assignment through email. Emails are a little bit tricky because first they can send your emails to the comments, and then sometimes emails are lost. I mean, in certain weeks, I mean, I'm loaded with tons, well, sometimes 50 email coming per day. In that case, it is easy for a human eye to lose your email among those 50 emails. And also, if you ever send email, actually, if you send an email on an assignment, just write the name of the assignment. If you ask an email to ask a question, write the question on the topic of your email. And if you have multiple topics, it's a good idea to write multiple topics, because if it is an assignment, I usually print the assignments at the same time. So I might just wait. Before other people submit it, and I print all the assignments. But you might also have a question next to that assignment in the email, but I might see that question very late because I thought it's just an email where you have submitted your assignment or exam, for example. If you have really important, so in that case, you can write assignment plus, for example, I don't know, question on, for example, I don't know, withdrawal, or I don't know, questions on the movie night, for example. If you have multiple important problems, it's a good idea to send multiple emails also. You can do that. Scanning, taking photos, doing assignment with software or hybrid methods, it's okay. Course plan. So this week is introduction. In the second part, we will basically go over the feminist critique of the economics, basically, where, again, as I said, one of the important approaches of ideas are actually both the focus points, but also methodologies. The methodologies, the economics is actually using might be biased because of the certain biases the male culture might have, and feminist culture might contribute to it. That's one of the ideas, although that idea is also challenged to some extent by some feminist economics. So we will discuss, actually, we will discuss on the limits of economics, the traditional economics, including actually the not only the most famous school, the most used schools, the schools you see the most often, neoclassical and the Keynesian school, but also Marxian school in actually. And then we will basically go in the next 2 weeks. One important projects of the feminist economics, which is basically trying to quantify, or trying to challenge methods we use to get information on economics well-being, or the way, let's say, economics performance of a country. The most famous one is, of course, GDP, but there are some also alternative measures, and to what extent they are good, to what extent they are biased, and what are potential alternatives, and to what extent those alternatives are good. Actually, those alternatives the potential alternative methods can also be criticized, and we will see those internal critiques of those potential alternative methods also. And then we will see a special type of measurement used in feminist economics. This actually gender indexes, which are actually measuring the gender, different ways, gender inequality, and women's women's performance in a economic system. We will see different gender indexes and to what extent they are good at what, and what they are measures their particular strengths and weaknesses. Actually, we will see them also in the third week. In the fourth week we will basically look to the data, specifically data, and then we will see historical development of the gender roles. I mean, how in economic system female and male roles developed starting from prehistorical periods. Different articles took to different periods. One takes more general approach, one takes more look to the capitalist era, one takes to recent historical period, I mean second half of 20th century. And they are interesting articles, all of them, in my opinion. You have articles of new economists, but also very old economists here, very early economists. And then we will focus on family, marriage, inter-household bargaining, I mean family as a part of the economic system, and how the economic, let's say, economic cooperation in the family is organized. And we will also see how this organization is connected to the greater economy, and why the family should be studied within economics, basically, is also something that is discussed in 6. And there are no necessarily actually common agreements. I mean, we will also, in all topics, we will see discussions within the feminist economics also. Economics of intimate partner violence and health, which is kind of a data analysis, which will be actually, we will see a bunch of data empirical works done here, which kind of is actually beyond just measuring the violence, also has something to say on what is happening in internal family. I mean, overall, let's say, intra-household economic relations also. Unpaid work. Well, this is actually a part where whether that unpaid work should be accounted and how it can be accounted if we want to measure its actual value in the economic system. Can we set a value for it to measure it? And what is the benefit of setting value of measuring it? And it will be discussed. Of course, the focus will be the unpaid work of the woman inside of the family, which is called domestic household work. Although in articles, other types of unpaid work, for example, volunteering, is also discussed. Or, for example, if I am a farmer, I plant a crop and I eat what I have planted. For example, I raise apples and I eat those apples, for example. And then we will specify on a special type of sector, which is care work, basically, which is considered one of the key sectors, and actually on which there is a wide analysis made by the feminist economists, we will see. Care work is basically, the most famous one is actually raising a child, but it can be there can be other types of care work, like looking after an old person, looking after a sick person, for example. It is basic human functions like feeding yourself or cleaning yourself, which is usually done by human beings themselves, are done by other, sometimes need to be done at early times of your life, late times of your life, and at certain periods of your life when you are sick, by other people. And this is care work, basically. And it is at the heart of the feminist economics, and we will see why it is at the heart of the feminist economics. And feminist economists, some of them claim it's especially important in economics as well. We will talk on the last part in the last part of our introduction.